you know, the real magic happens when the lights and the cameras aren't on. That's been something that going all the way back to high school. I used to be a pretty dang good athlete, but
That's shocking.
coaches, shocking, huh?
Yeah.
Who would have ever
I'm really
thought?
surprised.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I didn't even know you were an athlete.
See, the more you learn.
The more you know.
But my basketball coach, we had a very good program, very successful program, but he would talk about exactly that. What are you going to do when no one's watching? What are you going to do when no one else is in the gym, when your teammates aren't there, when the lights aren't on? What are you going to do when no one's in the stands? And you and I just had a very intense cameras off. Well, the lights were on, but mics off, cameras off, 40-minute convo. And I say that to encourage people. If you don't have folks around you that can really push you and hold you accountable and spend quality time just locked in, you need that. We all need that. That was very impactful.
Well, and you're at a particular place where this is the first time we've ever done that without the cameras on and without the microphones on. And we needed to do some really deep, what I call excavating.
Mm-hmm.
And you're very real on the podcast. I'm very real on the podcast. And I've been very proud of how you showed up, because when we started this engagement, I said, I need you to be you. Mm-hmm. You can't be filtered. And I think it was simply that we're here to do 2 podcasts today. We pressed pause, and I asked you a question that opened up an entire new earth. And had we pressed start, it would have changed the energy of the discussion. So we just needed to keep it going. Yeah. What I'm glad about is we are going to have a very compressed, powerful session right now. I would like you to the best of your ability, I'd like you to share, when we started today, explain where you were, and then explain where you are right now.
Yeah. When we started today, I was kind of like man on fire for a multitude of reasons. One, I just got off an imminent call where we got some incredible news, and really 2 pieces of incredible news. One was business growth focus, and one was growing the supplement line in a manner of which I want. We got approval and exclusive rights for methylene blue and my progesterone formulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, so they're going to be launching soon. And so that was a huge win, but obviously also, so I was on fire because there's part of me is pissed off about the poor weeks. And the other part of me is like, man, this is huge. And so I was just ready. I felt like a middle linebacker coming in. I felt like a middle linebacker. It's 4th and 1, and I've got to make a play. That's how I felt coming in.
Yep, you kind of looked like one too. You had that facial expression.
Yeah, I would not have wanted to fuck with me when I walked in, but now I feel graceful. I feel more like in the least gay way possible, ballerina dancer.
Well, that tells me you feel light.
I feel much lighter now. A lot of excavating happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I allowed to say gay? It's my podcast. I'm not to say gay.
I think it's an okay word to say.
I think we're okay.
I think it's an okay word to say.
There was a time in recent history where I definitely wouldn't say that on the podcast.
I think it's okay to say that word. And I don't think you were intending to degrade a set of people.
I imagine me in a tutu, and actually
it's pretty hilarious.
I might show up to next week's podcast.
It might be what you need to do. And I think that is absolutely okay. What I want to get done in the short time that we have today is I want you to share what you just learned during that excavating period. Justin was incredibly raw with his emotions. He is human, and he is feeling frustration, anger, angst. Justin, as you all know, have big targets and is looking to constantly achieve those. And all of a sudden, this dip in revenue had him in fear mode. I don't know if anybody listening has ever been in a place where you're afraid or where you look at things through scarcity. And then when you get in a place where it's scarcity, you get more fierce, you get more forceful. And really, a lot of the times we've been learning about how to respond differently. You also have an addictive personality. I mean, that's very common in your industry. It's very common in general. We have many clients who have addictive personalities. So we had a very rich discussion about what do you want to feed? What is it that you truly want to feed? And maybe what you're feeding right now is what you want to keep feeding. Or maybe what you're feeding right now is breeding something that you're not going to love in the long run. And so we talked about that. And I asked you what it is that you're tracking and what you're paying attention to on a daily basis. And I'm suggesting it might be possible to shift your attention to tracking something else. So what I think would be really helpful for you to explore right now with us is, what does a rich life look like?
You know what conversations brings me back to?
The bliss one?
Bliss.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Bliss.
So what is a rich life? And I'm sorry that I'm interrupting you. What does a rich life look like? And I want you to tell me, like, maybe you're 31. So what does it look like at 40? What does it look like at 50, 60, 90, 100? What does a rich life look like for you, Justin?
Detachment from the phone and the computer, and attachment to people who I love and people who I love spending time with, like Sammy, my family, my niece, nephew, my children, whenever that happens. You know, another big one that's much more imminent than the 40 is, Peyton turns 8 in August, and when I look at him sometimes, I have super real and raw conversations with Peyton about, you know what, man, like, one day we're gonna part, one day we're gonna go separate ways, and I affirm him of everything he's given me in this life and everything that we've done. So when I got Peyton, I lived in a $700 a month apartment in Columbus, and I couldn't really pay the rent. And, things have come a long way. But I want to spend as much quality time as I possibly can with Peyton. That's a big, that's a gigantic thing for me. I mean, he's, 8, most golden retrievers don't make it 16. So, as healthy as he is and as much love as we have, we're probably about halfway. And I want to spend as much time with him as I possibly can. That's what rich in life. Detachment from the bullshit, attachment to community and love.
Is your love for Peyton different today on the 33rd floor than when you were in your not 33rd floor apartment?
The reason why it is because I'm 31 now and I was 24 then, and I didn't know how to love then. I didn't know what that was. I mean, I didn't love my family then.
Yeah.
I didn't love a
So
woman.
you're different. Yeah. Is Peyton's love for you different today? Isn't that cool?
No. He's thought that I am the coolest of the cool.
Yeah. I don't think I told you that we lost Cash.
You did tell me that.
I did. Good.
You did tell me that.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. And they teach us so And little Cash, our French bulldog, was 8. He was supposed to have a lot more time. Mm-hmm. I am so grateful that I paid attention to everything that he taught us while he was here. And I'm so grateful that I'm allowing myself to feel so sad without him, and like go home and notice how empty it feels and let it feel empty and let that hurt, because there's growth in that. All right, I'll get back into coach. So what I want you to think about is, what are the things that you could be tracking today that are going to lead to you having a healthy life? or a rich life?
I thought about this during our intermission. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate answer or not, but a big thing that came to my mind is how many vacations, how many getaways Sammy and I go on where I'm not working. Because I haven't traveled very much. And I want to travel a lot, and Sammy loves traveling.
So those are two metrics you just said, and I want to call attention to both of them because we got to make sure we notice both.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we can work from anywhere. I've been doing that when over Skype.
Yeah.
I was handling work. A lot of people were not doing that, which I don't understand. So taking the vacation is one thing, going on the trip. Maybe being on vacation is the next thing.
Yeah.
So what you want to track is how many times, how many days a year maybe, are you without your devices?
Mm-hmm.
And set a number. Now, here's what's fun is you can have, maybe you set your number, we're not counting weekends. Maybe you decide that you're going to have 30 days, 6 weeks, 30 days without devices this year. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be gone somewhere every time to do that.
Yeah.
You could also decide, hey, this week, Thursday through Sunday, done.
Yep.
I'm not going to be working. We're going to be paying attention to each other. The whole point is whatever you're tracking is what you will obsess over. Whatever you obsess over is what you will respond, react to, care about. And now you have to decide if the things you are tracking and obsessing over, you're going to care about when you're 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. You're going to have to decide if the things you're obsessing over actually fuel and feed you, or are they giving you momentary, dopamine hits, momentary moments of pleasure. And a lot of people don't think to do that. So we all know that in order to live life, we need to make some money. Too many of us focus all of our attention on how much money am I making. Sometimes we become so enamored with that focus that we do anything it takes to make sure to make that money. Sometimes we become so enamored with that focus that we become afraid of it and we get ourselves further and further from it every day. If we pay attention to the things that are richer in life and then also have healthy attention to the more common, especially United States of America metrics like money and other followers, if that's your thing, all those more superficial yet sometimes critical metrics. If you're using that as and I track that, cool. If it's the only thing you're tracking, you're probably not living a really fulfilled life. Mm-hmm. So now you can start thinking about, for you, what that picture of richness looks like. Mm-hmm. And, that has shifted for me over the years, and I could not be more grateful to be in the place that I am, where I'm very happy with our monetary endeavors. I'm very happy with where we're going and where we've been from a monetary perspective, including my giant failures. I mean, I went bankrupt, so there's that. We've also won a lot. Mm-hmm. It was 2 years ago on Monday that my husband had a quintuple bypass surgery at the age of 48. And thank goodness that I also responded to that in a very meaningful way. And so what I have now tracked since then is I track every day how I sleep. Mm-hmm. I track every day how well I eat. Thanks to you, Justin, I track every day my gut protocol, which has resulted in me having 0 esophageal problems. I am almost completely off my medication. I track every day how much fun we're having. And I track every day, did I get my job done to get the numbers in the door?
Yep.
Yep. But boy, it feels so much more whole when it's not only those numbers. What would you say is the biggest thing that you are learning from both this conversation where we're bringing it into takeaways and action items, as well as the excavation time we had?
My KPIs, I am going to work to adjust my KPIs to be more aligned with the life I want to live and not quite be a slave to like the revenue or the company. My mindset in my day-to-day life is optimistic and abundant. That's why, like I told you in LOL, I'm not sure if this was when we were just talking just us or on the last podcast, but like I'm fine saying I had a bad week this week.
Yeah.
Because man, out of 52 weeks, I'm gonna have one or two, and we're 50% done with them on the year, so I'm fine with labeling it a bad week. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have maybe the optimism or whatever the case may be, like we should probably reframe the bad week. But I'm okay having one. Like it's fine. That's what it was. But even in a low revenue number week, if my KPIs are more aligned with how well I sleep, which I've slept terrible all week, how much fun I am having with Sammy, with Peyton, with my friends, how much time I can be unplugged, then even the bad weeks won't really be so bad.
It won't at all.
And, you know, I look back on the week and I said, well, I've had no fun. I've slept terrible. I've been plugged to the fuck in. Because if your main metric is, you know, I'm 31, I have a lot to learn. I've had a lot of success. I've had a lot of failures as well. I've got a fucking lot to learn. And if your main metric is, you know, going to be revenue drive, then fuck, you're just going to days are just going to pass. Weeks are going to pass. And I feel like this week just passed. But I have a great opportunity in front of me because Sammy's family's in town.
Aw.
So I have a huge opportunity in front of me.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about. So
yeah, and you're learning
excited about that.
Not to give outsized attention to any one thing that at the end of the day doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Another really big topic that we addressed together and wasn't recorded that we do need to talk about at some point with everyone is your self-worth.
Yeah.
And how you can begin to see your self-worth as so much more than a bodybuilder, than a fitness expert, than your companies. That is not your self-worth. The self-worth is the love and care that you give me, the love and care that you give anybody that's listening, the love and attention that you're about to give Peyton. That's your self-worth. You know, I said people will, you know, you go to these meetings, and this was a group meeting, and someone said, when you die, what do you want your obituary to be? And I decided I want my obituary. What I would love is anybody who knew me or had any affiliation with me would say, she always focused on helping me do what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure I could. And I got to tell you, that is what I focus on every day. I have been more graceful in some years and days and months at doing that than other years and days and months. And as I gain a few more years, I become more graceful because it's what I focus on more and more. What we focus on is what will feed us. So I really hope that you will begin deciding what you want to feed you, and you will then use that to inform what you will focus on.
I love that. What we focus on will feed us. I appreciate you, Nickie.
You too, Justin.
Grow Red Eye Podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.